Hey guys, I'm playing with the setup in here. I play poker on Bovada, and I've been playing enough recently that I wanted to start doing some like poker tutorials, just stuff to supplement what I was already doing with my social media. I think it's a lot of fun. It's also just a different personality than, what I deal with body work all the time. So we'll see what monstrosities I run into, and you can watch me lose money live. And let me see if I can change this to make it fit what I want it to do. And let's see here. Okay, so it looks like it didn't move it there. There we go. And we shall see. I've been playing for 10-ish years. I started playing online when Full Tilt was allowing American players, but long story short, the casino was overseas and it was weird stuff. So I turned, I think, $30 into 400 in my first year playing. Ooh, a limper. Let's race. Let's do it. Ooh, you can't believe it. He raised. Brutal. This is all the excitement you can expect here on Robert Gardner Wellness. I can click buttons and raise, damn it. I will fold. So yeah, I've been working at it for a long time. To give a basic idea, when I started playing, it was more generally what they would call tight aggressive or tag. The opposite of that is loose aggressive. Loose aggressive means that you play like a really wide range of hands that are more statistically various pre-flop, put it that way. So you're just raising with looser holdings pre-flop. So if I'm loose aggressive, I got 6-4 on the button. Would I raise this? Well, not right now, not me. What I've been doing is kind of playing with maintaining tag status, understanding the statistics, but in certain situations, playing hands out of position, confusing the other players, not having them expect that I'd raise 6-7 suited and suited connectors, things like that. It's been really interesting. I've been watching. Ooh, do not let me mispronounce his name. Let me see if I can pull this up. Lex Veldhuis. I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right. I'll make sure to provide a link down below. Because I've been playing online, one of the things that was not available, it seems like 10 years ago, or at least I didn't think to search for, was poker tutorials on YouTube. And I've been watching Lex play, and great sense of humor, wonderful sense of mirth and fun about the game, but also, much like me, he takes it very, very seriously. This is something he's deeply committed to. Let's see what happens here. But I really love his sense of humor about pots and what's going on. I don't particularly like this, but I'm trying to test the strength of the board and what's going on. The guy who's got a bigger stack is much more likely to call me in position. This is questionable. That's probably one of the weakest spots on the board. So that makes me nervous. Like he could call the pair of aces, something like that, but it depends on what the flop is. Now, I'm going to just check here because I didn't hit any draws. They could be, have two hearts. They could have an ace. I'm just going to make a tiny bet and see what happens. And again, this isn't so much like a value bet as I'm testing the edges of what's going on at the table. Now, if they don't have an ace, and don't have a... Exactly. Who knows what they had? Does it even show? No, it does not. I get a lot of calls like that. These dollar tables, this is a dollar 9-player tournament. I have to be exceedingly cautious because I run into things where a guy's playing great, very good pot odds. I run into things where guys are so loose, I can't figure out what the hell is going on. And I get other people who are playing in such a way that I can't figure out if I'm running through a minefield because I can't quite tell exactly what's going on. Now I'm in a position, this is interesting, because I'm playing a second tournament. I was kind of doing this as a test. Now I'm trying to figure out, how do I get the same screen, but like flip back and forth? Do I have to make a different, maybe, I don't know. We'll play with that. Yeah, let me pause this. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna see if I can add the next window in. Okay, so I think I got it. I'm gonna have to be messing with switches and screens and stuff, but I think we can figure this out. That would be a big fold. This, what do I want to do here? I think it's a fold. So I'm gonna have to figure out, do I want to switch it up and maybe put the screens side by side? Is that a better choice? I don't know. Let me think about that. You get to see me make it up as we go along, just like my poker career. A whole dollar. Let me pull my screens up here to make sure I can see what I need to see. There we go. See if we get any action here. This guy, these are super weak moves. Yeah. Now, who's going to call me with the weak ace and crack this? Please. For the love of God. Oh, yes. This is the board they were waiting for. Let's see. So we make a half pot bet. We have no flush draws. Let's just put him in, and then we'll see what happens to the other guy. I don't want to scare them away. Oh, yeah, a jam. What do you got? Ooh, nice. What do we got here? All right. That makes me look very impressive. Congratulate me on YouTube. Feel free to write in the comments what amazing. I knew how to raise king. Now, here's where things get a little more interesting. I think what I'm going to do for now is just limp with this. I want to see if I can see a cheap flop, maybe make a connect. I would feel more happy if I had another heart on the board, but let's see what happens. They'll often be concerned that I might have a heart, so. Don't like it. Let's see what's going on here. I'll be able to flip back and forth if there's anything of importance or anything of real interest going on. I think I'm going to fold this. I'm not particularly afraid of this guy's bet, but let's see. I will raise that and let's see what screen am I on. This is the part where I'm going to have to figure out my hotkeys. Ooh, a call. I will put him in. Yeah, sometimes the way that you guys play, honestly, it confuses the shit out of me. Like, I get lost. And again, let me pause this for 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm going to see if I can set up a controller to be able to toggle back and forth between screens. It'll make it a little bit easier for me. Be right back. All right, so I think I got that. This will be interesting. Actually, let me do this. Aha, there we go. That'll make it a little bit easier. What I want to do here. I don't really think this is worth a defend. He even made something a little bit above standard as a raise. I will believe him for now. Let me alter where this stuff is at. Just organizing what's on my screen so it's easy for me to see what's going on. Jack and a 4, I don't particularly feel aggressive at this stage. I'm going to let that sit for now. Whoop, can't do that. Apparently that messes it up. Okay, no, I misclicked. I meant to raise. We'll see what happens. This is what I get for altering the size of the screens. It's not horrible. You're probably afraid I've got an ace. Okay. Well, we at least avoided disaster. Fold. Middle position, I don't particularly like that. So again, give me 1 second. I'm gonna change some things up. All right, so I think I got some of this set up. We'll see, because I want to be able to go back and forth between tables pretty quickly to be able to show you what's going on. Oh, my hotkeys didn't do exactly what I wanted them to. Give me just a second again. Now we'll see if that worked. Ooh, I caught a dirty 6 over here. There's no flush draw on the board. I think I'm gonna go here and pray somebody didn't limp with a pair of jacks to destroy me in my life. Other table probably gonna fold. I now have the full house. We're going to pause a second and calmly bet. Hopefully the guy's on a flush draw. Given this table, I would not be surprised. So I'll try to go back and forth between, what I think is most interesting. Again, I just wanted to set this up, try it out. I got people messaging me, texting me, doing all this stuff. People went crazy on my Facebook page because they were talking about where they want me to come teach an in-person class. And most of my time is spent doing this, to be frank. Let's see here. I think I want to raise. I think I've got enough table clout at this point, enough table image that they might respect that. I mean, this is Bovada. We'll see. Particularly this guy, he's probably really annoyed right now. How dare he raise? So yeah, students were really excited to see, me talking about in-person classes. They always say this, hands-on, hands-on, hands-on. For somebody who grew up without the internet, I definitely over time adapted to internet-based technologies, and I'm spending more time teaching online than I am teaching in person. I can teach you faster, better, quicker, anatomy on screen, flip just like I'm doing here. Ooh, what do we want to do here? 2 times the big, out of position. Let's see a flop. Let's gamble. I don't particularly like it. At the other table, I think I'm going to raise this. Let me move this up a little bit. Now, here, getting a bet back, I lost a little bit here out of position, but I just wanted to see a flop. I think it's better to fold. I don't want to keep drawing on that. I'm afraid of that queen. King and a jack, middle position. I'm probably going to raise here unless somebody comes in before me. And yeah, let's figure this out. Just raise standard. I'm always worried that I'll run into king, queen, or something else, but it just depends on the flop. This is the stuff I keep working on, trying to figure out, you know, what it's best to do and when. That is not an excellent flop for my hand. I'm going to hope that he's afraid. I'm going to bet a little bit more, about 3/4 of the pot here, just to see. If I get a call, I'm probably going to let this go. I don't like that ace, and I also don't like the flush draws. And this is where it's more challenging. Like, do I want to sit down and show aggression and then try to draw for a 10? It's like a 1 in 5 chance of maybe drawing that card. I don't particularly like it. This is the problem. I have nothing to be aggressive with. I haven't hit anything. This guy could have a 2 and beat me. Yeah. And that's the thing. If I had really bet that, and this is what I wonder about when it comes to aggression, if I had really taken that hand and pushed it, would I have wound up in a position where he'd let the ace 10 go? At these tables, I don't think so, and that's the thing. Sometimes I'm playing aggressive, sometimes it's almost like I'm trying to avoid battle, if that makes sense. As I continue to do this, like I'm saying about switching screens, like, I don't know, I could figure out, like, I got to figure out some graphics for poker, like pot odds calculator, something like that. Let's see what's going on here. I got a limp. Let's do it. Let's gamble. Now, did he limp with an 8 or a 2? Or a nasty spade flush draw? Let's bet. Are you afraid that I hit my 2, sir? Since you limped into my pot. Oh, fear. See? That's how you build a table image. You $1. You're going to grind these guys into the ground. And actually, I think, yeah, this guy right here is actually a $2 table, but 7 and a 9, do I want to raise this? I think so. We're in position. Sorry, I say I'm in position. I mean, I'm out of position. We're not in position. Please don't listen to Robert Gardner for poker advice. You're going to lose money, just like I do. I was in a small blind. I would have had to gone after the button here. Let's see. There we go. Fold that. As I'm switching around, sometimes if the audio doesn't sync up to what I'm doing, it's because I'm trying to play on tables and then run the software to record all of this. So we'll see how it goes. But that'll be a fold. Don't like it. So my game is trying to, as much as possible, turn on some aggression when it's needed, but avoid fatality, making dumb moves, out of position. You know, one of the things I've noticed playing at this level on Bovada, people are so loose, I have a tendency to question their re-raises. So in other words, the guy's bluffing. He's just re-raising because he has crap. Then you run into a pair of aces because he actually did what you're supposed to do, trying to defend a hand. And that's the sort of thing that I have to be cautious about. I think here I'm actually gonna limp, which displays a huge amount of strength. This says that you're fearless and dumb in first position here. Yeah, I think they call this spot under the gun, as I'm learning my poker lingo. It's not super hot because the button over here winds up being in control after the flop. So over here, what the deal is like, do I call this? I don't think my kicker is strong enough. If I felt better about this hand, if I was suited, I'd probably call. That's my guess. But for now, I'm going to fold. I just don't think that's enough. Also, one more person going out is the money. So I don't want to make any dumb moves and lose a large portion of my stack just before that happens. Now, I have a complete airball, no flush draws. I'm just going to check that. Fold. Get me out of there. I have nothing over here. This is complete crap. Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast, sponsored by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yes, you too could learn science and statistics. I don't know if you could learn it at these tables, but sometimes for me, I'm not a great teacher. I'm learning as I go. Yeah, this guy's about to get wiped out. You don't have much left. This is the sort of thing you get into. It's like, I'm out of position, but it's only 50 tips to call. And I'm like, dude, did I hit anything on this flop? And to me, the issue is I didn't hit a draw. I didn't hit any specific card. I don't have anything. I'm just going to check this down. And it's like, what am I going to do? Bluff the straight? No, I'm just going to check. I don't have anything to fight back with. I've gotten very good at seeing the board and going, ooh, there's 2 5s on the board. Oh, I'm going to lie and tell them I've got a 5. The problem with that theory is when the guy who was playing against you actually has the 5. That's a downfall. Now, here is the problem. My queen didn't hit. I think he limped into my pot. I was in the big blind. The 7 did, but I'm like, hey, and I'm like, am I going to call it for nearly like a fifth of my stack? And in my world, that answer is no. But then back here, we got 4 times the big blinds, and I got king, queen out of position after the flop. If I was going to jam, maybe. I think I'm going to fold that altogether. And then over here is where we get something more interesting, because I'm going to call this. And I'm trying to prevent this guy from coming in if at all possible. There we go. We'll see if he cracks me with his jack. Nope. So we made the money on this one. If I go out at this point, I will have made a tasty 70 cents. Ooh, 70 cents. How do I pay for my tea? With my winnings from Bovada. That's right. Well, this is easy. Do I play this? I'll play it. Ooh, a limper. Okay. So let's hold on a minute. Let's see if we can give him just a standard raise. Let's see if he loses his mind or decides he didn't have it, which he did. I don't think my kicker is strong enough here. If I was playing super aggressive, I might jam that, but I don't think that's a good idea right now. Over here, I'm going to raise. I don't like my position and small blind, but we'll see what happens. A caller. Ooh. So I am gonna put it back in, hoping that he didn't hit a king. If he gets super aggressive, I'm probably just gonna fold. I don't want to just try to draw out. I don't think I have the statistics on that. I don't think that's gonna work. All right. So here's the challenge. He jams, which is what I talked about. I don't think I have it. It's better for me to just avoid the situation and go back to playing another day, choosing a better hand to battle him. And then here we got a limp, a 2 times the big blind. I'm not quite short enough for a jam with this, I don't think, just yet. I'm gonna fold. Back on the other table, I'm gonna raise again. And this is where you can get whittled away. You know, you got weak aces, but you're 3-handed. It's hard to make a judgment. If I got another jam, I'd probably let it go. But I think weak aces are something that I continue to try to understand statistically and mathematically when to be able to use those. I like when they fold to me. That fear at the table's nice. The 27 player, queen and a 10. So I think I'm going to raise again. We're going to see if he goes crazy. I'll let it go, but you know. You can't fold moderate holdings. You have to learn, and this has been a challenge for me, by the way. You have to learn to play after the flop. If you can't play after the flop, you're pretty much dead in the water. I'm going to fold that. But here, actually, I think I'm going to play this. If I get some crazy action again, I might let it go. I don't mind just a flat call. Now, the challenge is, did I hit on this board? What I just told this guy is I got it, but he called. So I'm going to bet again. And that's the challenge. It's kind of nerve-wracking. Sometimes the other way around, or no, I should say this. It's nerve-wracking because you're afraid that he hit a king. He probably thinks I'm just being aggressive, which, it's a marginal holding, but I can't fold every weak ace three-handed. You got to play something. Now, 2 times the big blind is not super strong. If this was suited, I'd be more inclined to play. I'm not really so anxious to get involved, even in position with that holding. So this table is the 3-player table, 3-table game, which is 27 players. I took first in one of these last night. I was inordinately proud, by the way, because I've been working on my game. I was losing for a little while in gusto, let's put it that way. I'm actually going to raise this. Now, if I get a jam here, probably going to call. Yeah. Statistically, that'd be where I need to be. Do not like Dolly Parton. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. So he could have a really wide range of stuff that he could play this way. I think Jack 10, 10, 8, a lot of those connector hands. And again, I'm not suited. I don't particularly want to show off a lot of aggression with these guys. I've got enough of a stack where I'd prefer to just sit and hang out. However, here, first position looks totally weak. It looks like I'm trying to buy the blinds. Hopefully I will get a call. And I did not. But blinds are okay. Allows me to survive another day. This will likely be another instance of a jam. I kind of wish this was suited at least. Or take it back. I just wish it was aces, but anyway. So this happened over here. He limped in, and then I was in the big blind. I don't particularly like that board. I don't have any draws, really. It doesn't look super good to me. If he starts betting, being aggressive, I just let this go. There's nothing worth fighting there. You got to really choose your battles in poker, I find. Now here is where it gets interesting. So does he limp? Does he jam? Does he this? Does he that? Who knows? Yeah, just let it go. This particularly, I just, again, not super excited. I think I'm just going to let that go. I don't want to fight this guy. I'm trying to bide my time until one of these guys wipes the other guy out. I kind of prefer that. A lot of patience, timing, statistics, bankroll management. I think poker is one of the greatest trainers for entrepreneurship. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. I was a philosophy student. There's a lot of like poker theory about life basically that rolls into my game. This 2 times the big blind, again, I just don't feel like I can defend this, and I just don't have a table image of being super aggressive. Over here, I don't have anything worth, I think, fighting for. I could put 50 chips in just to see a flop, but it's a lot of work. I'm not overly interested, to be frank. And what would I have done with this flop? Aggression, not at this stage. Then over here we go. Again, what do? I could limp in, try to see a cheap flop, but his stack is almost as big as mine. Like, part of my theory, at least at this point, is avoiding conflict unless I think I have a statistical edge on the guy. The whole game is lots of fun. I really, really enjoy playing. I want to see if I can show. Look at this. Now, this is the thing. If I had bet that, oh, it's all going in. Because somebody would be on a flush draw, something. I could possibly pull a full house. Now, this is more interesting to me. Now, what happens here? I don't know about him. If he does something fishy, I would probably jam that three-handed. Over here, I would probably just jam this. This over here, I ain't calling with that. Let's fold. Let's watch me get wiped out over here. Ba-boom. Do I get a caller? I do not. Now, this is where it gets more interesting. So I've been pretty tight, right? Like, I need to get some action here, so I'm going to raise. I don't love this, by the way. But if I fold every suited connector I've got, you're going to put yourself in real bad trouble at these boards. Here, I think I'm going to go ahead and just raise this, just standard. I didn't get any call on that jam last time. I'm going to see what happens there, and I'm going to flip back and forth, flip back and forth. They let my blinds go over here. That was kind of nice. Now, I don't love it, but I am going to raise. And I don't want to, I'm just going to standard raise. Like, if he would jam here, I would probably fold. I'm more interested in getting the other guy to go out. But he let it go. And here, I made a standard raise, got a couple of callers. This is real common. Do I want to play king, queen, offsuit, out of position? Now I've built a pot. These guys go before me, which is the power of position. I'm last to go. He says he's got it. Now, this guy over here could have a draw. Like, this is a 9-8. He could have jack 10. I'm going to jam it all in and pray. The way that I play loose is in balance as much as possible to the other players at the table. What are they doing? How are they behaving? Now, this is where I get a little confused. This is three-handed. He's likely betting light. He could have an ace. This is the thing, you have to be willing to lose. You have to be willing to die. And what do you do about that? Not much. You can't. There you go. Well, took it anyway. And those are the sorts of things, like, why did he choose that hand to jam? Now, in this table, I don't particularly think this is strong enough. I'm going to back off again and just play kind of lazy poker. Here on the other table, however, what do I want to do here? I'm going to raise just standard. And we're in the money. Like, I think I go to 270 instead of 180 or something. Let me even check that out real quick. 270 to 450. That's what it is. First place is 450. Yeah. And also, I've been working Lex, the gentleman that I mentioned. I've gotten much better just in a week watching his tutorials, having a better idea of like when to raise, when to fold. So this is a limp. I'm going to express extreme dominance and say, I'm going to take all your stack if you move again. And you can, because you could beat me with your pair of twos. Because I ain't got nothing. I have an ace high, air ball. Ace 10. Let's see, I would have hit trips over here, but that's oof. That would have been a rough. If I would have played it. That's one of those games, right? Over here, I'm going to continue with my aggression. This guy's probably going to get fed up with me and jam real soon and call. I'm going to bet over here. And over here, he let it go. Now, I got a caller to my ace-jack. I don't like this in early position, but I got to raise something, right? Now, here's the challenge. They probably assume I did not hit. And that's a very ugly draw-heavy board where I do not have a flush draw. I'm just going to check that because I was in early position. Over here, I've got a situation where, like, okay, do I show aggression with king 2? I would prefer to wait until my kicker is a bit better than that too. That's me. So back on the other screen, nothing. Again, I'm just going to check. Now, do I min bet? Which is yes. And I want to see what's going to happen here, by the way. Yep, had a king. Over here, I'm going to continue with the aggression and hope I get a call from something weaker than what I've got. Now, the reason I didn't play that ace-jack all crazy is because of that thing where, like, he came in with the AK. I think, you know, this is marginal, but this guy's weaker and weaker each hand goes round. If he had any king X or higher, he should probably call that, I think. Heads up. Over here, this situation, I don't really want to lose another 700 chips. I'm going to let that go. And heads up over here with a 6 and a 3. No, you let it go. Good. Now, this is one of those things. I, in an odd way, want to give myself the statistical edge. If I jam in, it's a power move. Is he finally going to get fed up and call? I would prefer to wait until my holding is a little bit higher than that. That's just me. In this situation, again, in the small blind, there are 3 other people involved. I'm going to call this because I'm hoping I catch a glorious flop and this guy doesn't re-raise. Now, here's the challenge. I've hit top pair, but my flush draw is not super good. I'm going to bet that and see what happens. And this is not high theory poker because this is where my game starts to fall apart. I'm not exactly certain what to do on a board like that because what if a guy limped with 9-10? The guy's on a spade flush draw. Now, that is a brick. That 2 likely did not help anybody. Now, let's go to the other screen real quick. This, I'm going to go ahead and jam. I don't like this, but he doesn't have much left. And on the other board, they apparently, I think, just let it go. Just from that min bet, by the way. Which I don't think is a great move. I'd prefer to be able to play that a little bit more aggressively. But again, I'm still working on my game. You know, if he jams this, I'm probably going to call. I wish this was suited, but let's see what happens. Yeah. Nice. I have officially won my first tournament online. Thank you. Thank you. My claim, oh, 450. Oh, I feel the adrenaline coursing through my veins. Let's go back to the other screen. It'll be a bit easier. I don't like this. I haven't shown a lot of strength. I don't want to fold. I'm sorry. I don't want to jam. Not jam. I don't want to raise with a marginal kicker. That's what I was trying to say. So we close that table. We can move this around. There we go. and we'll see where this goes. I'm in an okay position. I want to find out. I'd have to change the settings here to be able to pull this up, but I can check where I am. I'm in 7th position right now of 19, so still got a ways to go on this one. Uh, I'm in early position. I don't like it at this moment. Also, it's like, how do you feel? And I mean this. Do I feel like, yeah, like I'm gonna climb this 4,000 mountain over here with Jack 9 offsuit? No, I'm not. And a student is asking for information. Oof. The Jack and the 7 again is just weak. I just don't, particularly like that. I'm starting to warm up because of my tea. I mean, all that adrenaline. $4.50. Yes, we take your money. Wrong screen. Go back. Yeah, it's just judging the situation. Like I said, I've gotten very philosophical about poker. I just absolutely adore No Limit Holdem. So putting myself in a position to win, you can't get lucky if you don't play. But the more I listen to Lex, which is kind of helping me with some of the more aggressive sides to my play, I feel better about calling it variance. And that's one of those things about language. When you change the word, oh, the guy got lucky. He cracked my queens. Oh, it was ace. The other night I played a hand, and in other words, my queen went up against a guy's ace. A queen and an ace hit the board. We both had trips, but of course he's way ahead. He's got aces. I rivered another queen. Now it sucks for that guy in the short term, but in the long term, it's just poker. Like it wasn't like we were already both all in, so it didn't even matter. Like there was nothing we could do about it to prevent it. It's just what the cards did. Now, do I express aggression? And I could try to scare them off. What I'm hoping is to flop, not that. I was hoping for maybe an ace, a 7, and a 2, because they're not going to let go of an ace. So I'm going to check this. Maybe I get another heart. Maybe I get another 2. Maybe I get a 7. That is not the monstrous bet that I was looking for, but do I want to, do I want to take him on with my 2s? No, I'm going to let it go. I am going to play this, by the way. I'm just going to make a standard raise. It looks like I'm taunting him, maybe. The other one I've seen is they'll raise 2 times the big blind because it's not a real raise. You figure you're just trying to steal blinds. This is where it gets more interesting. I wish that was suited. I hate to say that I almost hope one of these guys ahead of me raises first so that I can go, oh, okay, I gotta fold. Because I don't really, and this is the problem. With my stack size, I could take this guy, but the other guys are either going to wipe me out or take half my stack with ace-3 offsuit, four-handed. I'm not super happy about this, and then another limper makes it even more so. Now, here's an exception. If I had a pair of 8s, I might call this, hoping to see a cheap flop and hit trips. Or flop a set, I should say. Texting, so unprofessional. I'm like, what? How do you even continue? It's getting serious here. I got to put on reading glasses. Oh, yes. When the social media gets dense. Let's see how my electricity bill is doing. I'm going to update you guys. Yes, $5 this week. Yes. It's like, Robert, your electric bill's gone up by 25%. It's $7. I'm like, it's okay. I can afford $7. I just want $4.50. Yeah. I'm not gonna call this. There's too much on my stack. What am I hoping for a draw here? I'd rather wait for a better piece of equipment, a better tool, better weapon to fight this guy with. So yeah, like I said, to me, it's just the perfect training ground for entrepreneurship. I learned so much about patience, statistics. Playing in person, very different than playing online. But one of the things I noticed about playing online was I was able to sit with a group of people that I would never hang out with and really be able to have conversations with them. Hey, where are you from? Cool. Hey, it's nice to meet you. We're all playing a friendly game, right? Like, it's a group of people that I wouldn't normally associate with outside of my friends circle. And you learn about people, tells, verbal communication, lots of other stuff that I have problems with in my business that I continue to work on. Packaging, marketing. When I talk about table image, it's like, what do people think of you? It's amazing to me when I get a big stack, the other players tend to avoid you. Once they've seen you cap a couple guys at a table, they're like, yeah, don't mess with that guy. That's the sort of thing that happens in business as well. You don't go poking the bear, so to speak. But if they don't look at you as a bear, I don't think I got a pair of sevens, I'll call. Not worth it. Let me find out if she wants workbooks. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I have to use my stack size to go over these two guys, hoping that this guy doesn't have a hand or he's just not annoyed with a pair of sixes. I think my kicker is too weak here, and I just don't have the table image of aggression to try to fight over 300 chips for the big blind. Like, I don't think that's worth it. Maybe if I'd been suited, I might feel a bit better about that. These two guys are likely not going to want to lose their stack, but I just consider that marginal. And I'm trying to survive here. We've got 15 players. I'm ranked 9th so far. I've got at least to get to player 10 to be able to make any money at all, just to make the money. So social media, this is what I think is going to be really interesting. One, I should be able to do this and add like my YouTube chat in here so I can just stream this shit live, which is going to be exciting because I can just have conversations with students while I play poker. They can ask me questions about stuff, and it's going to be hilarious to me if I get to the point. It's like, can I multi-table live stream poker playing and teach body work at the same time? Well, Janice, what you see with the coracobrachialis here, let me load this anatomy up real quick, and it flips up, and I go, you put some pressure right here on this trigger point, right next to the orange torsion or the tubercle of this and that. Can I do that at the same time? Probably. Where was I going? I was going to say teaching online, information, distribution, playing poker, table image, how people view you, the communication. I can't remember what my original point was, but I continue just to work with students to be able to provide them with information. And sometimes, oh, this is what it was. It's like how they receive things or how they communicate. Somebody asked me recently if I was teaching in XYZ city or state. I haven't had a lot of classes because of COVID, and then I'm trying to figure out teaching online more as more of a focus. The students, even though they appreciate the supplement of online, they really want in-person classes. So I feel a little daunted during COVID, like who wants to travel around? Are we on break? 5 minutes. So I'm gonna pause this real quick because you don't want to sit with me and break for 5 minutes. I'll be right back. I'm sorry to tell you guys that you missed me folding 2-4 offsuit. Oh, I could have had the nuts right here. I would have killed this guy, I'm sure. Maybe not. Not worth fighting. Let's check again. Where am I at on the table? I'm in 10th position. There are 15 people left. We need to make some moves here soon, but we'll see what happens. And I still have tea, thank goodness. Not good enough. So yeah, students trying to get CE stuff, and it's all complicated. It's hilarious to me because Texas is my home state. I'm in Central Texas. I rarely get out of Texas because Texas is so huge, and I can't teach hands-on instruction online. Oh my God. 99% of what I teach is hands-on instruction online using 4 camera angles live. Now, I think this is going in. Unless there's just jam, 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 this is going to hold up to a host of hands, and this is just how we go out in a blaze of glory or double up. Now let's see if somebody's going to raise. What happens here? Can you feel it? Do you feel the excitement? Of course, they had the table. I won 450, so I got my money's worth on this one anyway. It's about long-term bankroll management. I mean, you can say it's not professional to communicate via text, but like, what about emoji? I'll communicate with you emoji. I'll heart symbol you all day long. I don't care. Ain't professional. I don't care about it. So I get a raise. This guy's goading me. I don't give a fuck what he's got. He could have aces. It's going in. Does he hit his 10? That would be a no. And I will say, Lex, God, I can't remember the last name. Lex, let me see if I can pull it up again. Lex really helped me with that sort of stuff. I used to have almost like anxiety making calls like that. And then Lex is so, I think from years of practice, like hyper rational, because the only thing you can rely on really is the statistics. You know, do I want to be between these two guys with Jack 5 suited? If I felt like being aggressive, sure, but for right now, I don't think so. The issue is, statistically, I go, okay, that guy raised 2 times the big blind from late position. If I had 7-2 offsuit, I'm just going to fold probably. But he's hoping I call with something weaker than his ace-10. Maybe it's ace-5 offsuit. You know, a lot of hands that, frankly, you know, make or break players. But we can only do what we can do. Now, you'll notice he limped with those kings. Whew. I'm not going to say no. I will do it on occasion, depending on what's going on. Now, this guy is sitting out. If I call, it's almost half my stack. I'm not suited. And what if this guy has had enough and then jams it in? I think this is one of those situations where if they had not jammed, I might sit around and play for a minute, like ponder it. I don't think it was strong enough for me to make a move there. I'd rather wait for a better situation. And those are the sorts of things. It's not just having a better hand, it's being in position. It's not being in position, it's catching a better flop. It's not just having a better flop, but having your hand improve. All of those factor into how I look at entrepreneurship and business. So somebody's writing me, and I get this all the time, by the way. Somebody, they're a 24-year massage veteran. Ooh, this is nice. What are you going to draw his flush? Nope. Nope, nope. He took it down with his 9s. Nice. Guy got a good hand. That's to the wire. Now, this is where it gets more interesting. Early position, this guy just took a big hand. Okay, I'm going to raise this. I don't know if I want to go crazy, but he's sitting out. This, he's gonna have to go all in. Ooh, okay. I'm hoping he folds. I'm hoping this guy lets it go, but he may jam as well. I'm probably, even if he jams, I'm probably gonna call. If he jams, I'm afraid I might have to leave my stuff on a table there. Well, we'll see what happens. I shall call it. That's a rough shot on their end, but hey, I got some chips. That was rough. So somebody wrote me, they said they're a 24-year veteran of massage. They said they do Thai already. They learned from me. Yay, online. Yeah, online. That's right. They've never been in my physical presence. I don't know who they are, but they learn with me online. That's right. Yes. The distribution information flow across the internets. They said, I love your technique and approach better than anyone ever. Thank you. Thank you for that vote of confidence. You who will remain anonymous. And then they're asking about stuff. And this is what I was saying about, you know, people don't think it's, you know, professional to communicate via text. And I think also my business has changed so much that because I sell online products, I'm already online. So they're asking questions about like my store, or sometimes my digital infrastructure can be a bit confusing because I've got workbooks, DVDs, online stuff. I got basically 3 websites stitched together with Zapier, which is some additional software that when you order on my Shopify store, it connects to Teachable and this sort of thing. So you got all kinds of stuff like that going on in my practice. I will not be particularly aggressive with this. Let me check and see what position I am now in. I'm in 3rd position out of 12. 10 makes the money. Probably going to make the money here. And this is where it gets interesting. Now, what do? I would prefer to just avoid confrontation. I'm going to let these guys just battle it out. And the challenge is, if I had hit that jack, now what? And how heavy-handed do I want to be? And I'm still, looking at this, like trying to figure out how this stuff works and how I want to play it, so to speak. Now this will get played. Let's see what happens. Ahead of me though. So the person was asking for stuff on my website, and I grab a link and like send it to them. Because if they've got a clickable link, they're able to go and like look at the stuff on their phone like immediately. If I didn't have that link, like that's what I mean about like it's unprofessional to text. And I'm like, I got a small computer that connects to planet Earth and people want information, and my goal is to get so many people goddamn doing the work. People in sub-Saharan Africa are studying with me on their smartphones. Please help the people in your village. Now, this guy is about to get a rude awakening if he's going to raise this. Because I can see him, this guy's tight, right? This guy don't have much of a stack. I'm going to raise. I'm gonna steal these blinds. Watch this. Because if he raises, he didn't, but I'm going to raise anyway. And put that guy all in. We'll see what happens. Against the 2 guys in the small blind and big blind, ooh, and this is where it gets a little more murky. Part of me wants to call because I have enough in my chip stack. But again, it's one of those situations where I'm trying to figure out when do I want to avoid certain aggression. Let's say he has a pair of 2s. Statistically, he's ahead. I have to get lucky and catch an ace or a 5. But I think that, let's see, that's the thing. Now, who would have taken this? I had an ace and a 5. Well, I think I would have taken it because I don't think anybody paired the board. But it's one of those risky situations that I'm judging what's going on at the table to try to figure out whether I think it's a good idea against his possible range and holdings. Now, a limper, man, I would love to see a flop with this, but like, do I want to get involved? Where am I at? Let me check the stats here. Yeah, we're down to 10 players, so I made the money, but I'm in 2nd position overall chip stack. I'm just going to let this go. And this is what I was saying about, making sure I got the right weapon in the right situation. And sometimes you still lose anyway, but we'll see what happens to these 2, whether they fight it out. And see, this is, you got a 1 in 5 chance. Any jack, any 6 would have hit that. But what if the guy's drawing on a flush? What if he's got jack 10? There's so many hands, like depending on what's going on, you could scare folks away with that 8 and a 9, but I don't feel super excited about it. Blind stealing can be really lucrative. Now there's the deal, the jack drew. I would have hit it, but that's rough. I feel better raising this. Now, does this guy limp? He does not, so I will raise this. But I'm still conflict avoidant. I almost wish, if anything, this guy jams in with some unknown holding, and the other two guys get out of the way because they're just trying to avoid a conflict with me. There we go. Bovada also, I figured this out. I used to go in here and like put notes on people. This guy is tight, etc. Then I figured out Bovada doesn't save any of these notes. Like me putting notes in here for a single game, like I can mostly remember what a guy did from hand to hand. So you'll notice there's nothing to identify me. People are just a number. There's no avatar, there's no little photo, there's no whatever. Like on Poker Stars, when I played there for Play Money, you had a thing set up where you had like a name so I could tell who it was. So when I play that person again and again and again, I can respond to that. Here, I don't know who the hell anybody is. So it has a different factor the anonymity provides. We are in the money. Though I admit the top 5, 486, that's like a double. So you pay $2.20 in. You got to get to place 5 and above to really make any money, but we'll see what happens. Not strong enough. I will let it go. People tend to clam up at the end here. Sometimes I take that to my advantage, go on a holy terror, make them afraid of every jam I do, 6 jams in a row. It also depends on your risk aversion. Sometimes I actually like being short stacked at a final table because I can be a holy terror where I know odds statistically and know, okay, like they're going to have to get lucky. I played a tournament last night. Yeah, I went out in 3rd because I wasn't playing erratically, but I was playing quite aggressively. And 3-handed, I came up with, let's see, it was a limp, another limp, and I'm in the big blind with ace jack suited, which I jammed all in. One of the big stacks, because I wasn't as big as his, one of the big stacks had it up to here and called with a pair of 2s and cracked me, and won, by the way. But every time I look at that hand, statistically, his pair of 2s is like 2% ahead pre-flop, something like that. And I go, which hand would you rather have? And I think about this all the time. Which hand would I rather have? Now, I'm all in. He's got to make a decision. He can fold hoping that whatever I have doesn't hit. And I really wish I could go back in time, because hindsight is always 20/20. I wish I had a pair of 3s, because I would have cracked him one. It's like he just had a pair and my ace jack just didn't hit. Now that would have been a nice one if I'd have seen that one. Oh, here we go. Now I want everybody to limp, and I would like an ace 2-5 flop, and then I want you to see what happens to the table. Limp. I want to see a flop. Limp, please, limp. Come on, you got a big stack. Come on, you got a big stack. Don't be jamming. You got a yeah. Here we go. Let's see a flop. Turn on the aggression. Now, he bets out, which I think is a pretty good move, because a lot of people, they get nervous about this. I'm in the big blind. I could have any 2 cards. Do I want to call him, get into a battle with the big stack? No. I'm going to avoid conflict at this stage, let him do his thing. I don't think my 3-4 is worth battling on. Those 2 pair on the board with an ace high thing screwed me up as well. Sometimes I get confused with statistics, because you'll assume the guy has ace high, and then you find out he actually had a pair of 3s or something that was a higher pair than what was on the board. I had a hand recently. I trying to remember like what was going on at the table, but yeah, I think I had a limper under the gun. I was in the big blind with 6-8 and then the flop came 6-8-3. And I bet the pot, and then the guy under the gun jammed. And I'm like, I got 2 pair. And I called, and he had a pair of 10s. So I'm like, yes, I lost because another pair hit the board, 10s and 3s or something. So his 2 pair beat out my 2 pair. But at these tables, these folks are loose enough, man, they'll lose with that. There was a hand recently, I was in middle position with queen 8 and raised because I was being more aggressive. Sure enough, the flop came queen queen 8x. I had 2 pair. I bet 3/4 of the pot, and a guy in late position just jammed, and I'm like, here we go, call. And he had king queen and just cracked his entire stack with that. Now, this is where I think it gets interesting, because these loose players who bet 2 times the big blind, call the 2 times the big blind, there's a lot of that goes on that confuses the hell out of me. It's hard for me in my tag brain to understand what they're doing and why. Or why they're doing, what they're doing. Like, if you had a middle pair, 8s through 10s, maybe. Like, if you had a pair of 10s, what do you do on this board now? Because do the big stacks, do these 7,000 stacks, do they want to go against each other? I choose when to be aggressive. And if I can choose, I take a baseball bat to a guy when he's looking the other way. Rack. Like, I'm here to win money. It's also a big deal for me about pattern recognition and just mastery. It's not so much taking money off the guy. It's about playing well and seeing yourself win. And that's what I was saying about his pairs. He hit it 2. Now what? And it's awesome. I mean, he hit his 3 of a kind. It's very profitable when it happens. When you play any pair, you have a 1 in 8 chance of hitting one more of you have a pair of aces to a pair of 2s. You have a 1 in 8 chance of hitting another one of those at the flop. Only 1 in 8. 1 out of 8 times. It doesn't mean it's not profitable, because it depends on the texture of the board and what's going on. Your 2s, you could hit ace, 3, 4, 5. There's all sorts of things you could potentially hit that would make that work. But he also has a big enough stack to be able to absorb some of these stacks and play a little bit more risky poker. Now this is just like this call. 4 or 5 times the big blind. Is he really nervous about this 5,000 stack jamming in? Then he's got a decision to make, which he'd probably call anyway. But do I think he's necessarily holding premium? And that's the thing. It's like, there you go. What do we got? Nope, he took it. Now, when this guy's got such a big stack now, I just tend to avoid conflict with the big stack, and I try to battle against the smaller stacks, if at all possible. This 2 times the big blind in first position, this stuff confuses me. Really, the only times that I do that I've noticed at the tables, I've had to work on this over time, is I will, on occasion, if I've got kings or aces, and I will amend this to say, if I lose, I lose. Because you're trying to get the guy to put it all in, and will he put it, see, ace jack. That's a pretty solid hand to maybe do that with, but that sometimes is the result. If you have aces or kings, it's easy to raise an early position, have them come after you. I think that's strong enough. We'll see what happens. My table image is pretty tight. I don't think, like this guy. Now, here's the deal. 1,700. I think this is enough. He might have a king. He might get me on this. There's no telling what he was holding. He bet 2 times the big blind, first position with ace jack. Like, I'm thinking about it. Like, what would he do that with? I don't know. But you got to take some risk, some calculated risk. It's really hard when you have a weak ace X and a king hits the board, but you got to take a risk at some point. If you play too tight, these online players will, oh dude, Thank you so much to Lex, by the way, because I won 2 tournaments last night alone, took first. I was like, yes, I felt like a gangster. But it's because of his tutorials and my capacity to start thinking in lag, to start thinking about loose aggressive playing in various positions and what I could potentially do. Why, you didn't put him in? That was weird. I thought that was interesting. I don't know why he didn't just the last 630. I'd like to see a flop with this. I, however, will not be calling you. We're in second position next to this guy. And there's only 7 people at the table. I think I can probably at least get to 5th, which is where the real money starts. I'm quite happy with that. We'll see what happens here. I would like to see a flop. Oh, thank you so much. That is very polite of you. Now, do I have it? Let's do this. Is he afraid I have a 7? Is he afraid I have a 4? Is he afraid I have 2 diamonds? And that's why he lets it go. Because that's a very scary board. Once, did I think he was holding that? Oh, I got it. He could, but if he goes crazy, I'm just going to fold anyway. Oh, it's the big knee and the sunlight's pouring through the windows. Got to change it up, give him something more exciting, you know, flip over to the old screen and the old screen here. Ooh, oh yes. With my jack and my 6. Now, I don't really want to clam up, but I just don't think against this guy. He's going to be rather aggressive with his stack. And this is the thing about his limp. Depending on his holding, I don't think it's bad because he's got such a huge stack. He's just trying to get advantageous flop. I just don't. Jack 10, yes. Queen Jack, King Jack, yes. Jack 6, offsuit. I just don't. I don't feel comfortable enough with that hand, given my. If I had his stack size, probably. And there we go. So you don't have to have it, but do they think you have it? Oh, there's a philosophy for you. Think about that. It's like dating. You don't have to have it, but they gotta think you have it. Make sense? Yeah. Yeah, I said it. What you gonna do? Oh, a jam. Oh, another call. Oh, what's going on? Oh, so exciting. Poker. Yeah. Classic. Ooh, busted his 10s. Uh-oh. Is he gonna draw it? Ooh. That's rough. But I mean, that's pretty solid. I mean, you know, if I had a choice, it's hard for me to prefer the 10s because there's so many things that crack it. You can see how close that one card could have been an 8 and he'd have lost his entire stack. It was a nice board for him for sure. He feels better about his life at the moment. Also, you'll notice this. You see how he folds? It's real common. I've noticed this. A guy wins a big stack and then they avoid conflict next hand. It's almost like they're riding off the wave of like that accomplishment and they're like, no, I don't want to lose some of the stuff I just won. Like they clam up a little bit. I have had runs where I was final table and I drew ace jack, ace 10, like again and again and again. And I just kept raising. Nice, kings held up. And again, 5 is where the real money starts. I'm gonna not clam up, but I just isn't strong enough. I'm not that aggressive. 2 times a big blind. Why? What does it accomplish? Do people really think I have aces? And they could, by the way. In other words, I could do it. It could work. I'm dealing with my table image, which is quite tight. They're like, ooh, maybe he's got a pair of aces. Maybe he, you know, is doing something murky with his big stack. This is the race. Got a 7. Ba-boom. All right, we made it to the real money. So from here, it goes from, let's see, $4.86 all the way up to $12.15. I would love to take first, but we'll see what happens. I don't feel confident about this hand and doing much with this. Ooh, now this is interesting. Let me see, do I get any callers? Because you'd get the blinds and you'd get the 1850. So this is a challenge. I'd have to call 1355 on a 4,000 pot stack. I don't think 9-2 suited plays really well, and I'd have to give up that amount. I'd rather just let my blind go. Well, we made it to fourth. Now, this is the deal. If I get squirrely with this hand, I can lose half my stack with 10-4 suited. I'd rather pick a better spot. Also, I think that the stacks to my left sometimes respect me a little bit more because I let so many of the blinds go. Now, if he folds, I think this is strong enough. I'd be willing to go out here, but I think that's strong enough three-handed for a raise. There we go. And that's the thing. It's like statistical analysis. They're going, okay, that guy's tight. He's not raising all the time. He's not taking all my blinds. He's probably got it. Okay, I'm just gonna fold. I got my pair of deuces. They're probably not gonna hold up. And I'd prefer to get heads up with the stack to my right, if at all possible. If I could absorb their stacks, that would help. Then we have something to fight back with. Once I get heads up, it's a lot of push fold play, which I'm fairly comfortable with. I don't do a lot of like small betting heads up. There's a lot of push fold in my game. I'd like to see a flop with this. And you have a huge stack. I mean, oh, very aggressive, very aggressive. Now, do I want to call with 10-5 suited? Now, I'd tell you right now, if I had 10-9 suited, Jack 10 suited, I'd be calling. I'm going to let this go. I'd prefer to see this guy put some weight on these legs and have them drop out so I go up in the money. And this is, for me, this is tournament strategy and money at this point. Queen 9 offsuit. One, what does this guy do? No, I'm not going in with that. I'm not going to lose half my stack because of this. If I clam up too tight, that's where you can start to lose out. And fold equity. Lex is talking about this concept, fold equity. And I'm like, oh, the chips on the table. So like you get a bet, a call, and then it's like jam, all in with your aces. They don't have to call. They just have to fear your bet enough to go, but you draw in all those chips without even necessarily seeing a showdown. And this is one of those hands, who's ahead? If I had my 7, am I ahead? Does he have a pair of 9s? Did he have an 8 and a 2? Who knows? Choosing the spot to be aggressive. Man, I got a bad stack size. Ooh, okay. I think I'm just gonna, this is it. This is it. If they got it, they got it. It's just gonna have to go. Now, he's the one I'm worried about because he can absorb my stack. He could have 2s. Okay, they let it go. Now, the manifestation is he has a much bigger stack. He can take more risk. What did he think I had? He probably felt like the guy's been pretty tight. He's probably got something. I should let this go. And that's a little bit more advantageous for me for what's going on with these. Is he going to call this? So 1650, and this is the problem. 1650 to see a flop, king 6 offsuit. Because he could have almost anything. I'm going to fold again. I'm just playing conservative. I'm hoping he wipes him out. Gets his 9. And that would have been a rough hand for me because I believe I just would have lost to his straight. Now I'm in 3rd position. Now, if he folds, do I jam? Because, okay, I am. I don't like my kicker, but he's short. Let's see what happens. No! King! No! Okay. Now it's a battle for survival. I'm not playing that hand. And I'm kind of hoping that this guy just leans on this guy enough. We'll see what happens here. King 4 to Queen Jack. That's marginal, but, you know, I've been playing pretty tight. I wouldn't mind seeing a flop with this. I'm not going to call a shove with it. Call. 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 He called. Fold. Classic battle. Do the threes hold? No, they do not. Now we are in second place. And I believe, I will check on this, 9:45 to 12:15. Whatever happens, there's a $3 difference. Now, do I think my 4-5? No, I do not. Because I basically, his stack is so big, all I got is push fold. Those are my options. There's not really a lot of post flop play at this point. Ooh, don't like that. Let me see a flop. Cheap, come on. It's Doyle's hand. Come on. No, Mr. Brunson, I love you. You are the Yoda. I love you, sir. I am folding 10-2 offsuit. Position, position, position. What's going on at the table? Well, I had 10-2 offsuit and a tiny stack. However, it's all over. So let's see what happens. This is a $3 hand. All right. Now, do I get a queen? Do I get a 7? No, I do not. Oh no, I only won $9.45. I placed in both goddamn tournaments, first and second place. Thank you very much. Building a bankroll. Thank you, Lex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna edit these videos, put some captions on it, put it up on the YouTubes. And if you guys have comments, feel free to ask. I'm gonna try to figure out how to put in the chat window so we can just sit and chat while I stream live on YouTube. You guys have a great day, and I really appreciate you.